Stitches of love we weave so. In this online world we come to grow. Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, where hearts align. Let's embrace the craft and let our souls shine.
Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Lori Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop Studio, and we're going to work on a panel, the easiest one you're probably ever going to see. We're going to take this panel right here, and this is what we end up with. So how we're going to work it is we're going to put two borders on, and then we're going to put a 6-inch square in the corner, and then we're going to block that out again with another 3-inch. And this just kind of frames whatever panel you have going on. I didn't want to chop up this one. It's for a baby quilt that some really good friends of mine are expecting to be the first grandparents at the end of August, so I'm super excited for them. So I wanted to whip them up something really cute. So we're going to play with this one right here, this Christmas one, and have some fun, okay? So what I did, I didn't want to use this part of it, okay? So I squared it up. I trimmed it all the way to the edge of this project, so it was nice and snug, and it ended up being 34.5 by 34.5. So to get that to bulk it out with two borders and then the squares, you're going to need 4 strips for the first border and 5 strips for the second border, because you're going to go a little bit longer than the width of the fabric. Then you need 4 squares. These are 6 inches. I apologize. These are 6-inch squares, and these are 3-inch squares. So you need 4 and 4. So it's 4 strips, 5 strips, 4 blocks, 4 blocks. Super easy done. You can get this done in like 20 minutes. So once you get it all squared out, okay, right there, and you add whichever border you want to add first. I've got one side already on the go here, just to kind of step up the process. And we're just going to add the 2 up here. So what we want to do is work side to side and then top to bottom. Okay, so we've done the sides. Now we want to work top to bottom. So my measurement here is coming out around 40 inches. And since it's small, I'm just going to go the top and the bottom of the measurement, making sure they are both the same, and then move on. If you had something that was longer, maybe 2 or 3 times this, you want to take a middle measurement as well to make sure you have the proper length for your border, okay? So since this is 40, and I know that, and I've got it trimmed, I'm going to add those 2 yellow pieces. I wanted to pop out a little bit of bright color that was going on in here, and the best color I could find out with this mustardy color right there was my yellow here. Y'all having a great day. I'm just going to put like 3 pins in, 1 in the center and 1 in either end, and that makes it really quick to just zip along and sew it. Okay, and I'm just going to flip to the other side. Add the second strip. I did not pre-cut my other ones, but I did with 3 of the strips together for the second border. When I was putting the 3 of them together, I did make sure it was all one. So for the second part, that final edge of the red border, I do have it a little longer because it is going to be longer than the width of the fabric. Okay, so just a couple of little pins, and then we'll sew that down. Okay. Zip it under the machine, the other end. And on your 6-inch square and on your 3-inch square, you want to mark on the diagonal from one corner to the next. And those are going to be your guidance for where you sew. And we'll give that a little press, and then we'll take our measurement for adding the first of the red. Okay, so let's just move these guys off to the side here. Use our pressing mat. Just go along. Oh, oops. Missed there already. Oh, jeepers. Such a good start. Okay. Let's fix that. Seam ripper, you're my best friend. Seam ripper, right to the very end. was going to say half an inch, but I was going to say half decent seam allowance. Okay. There we go. Scoot that back up there. Put a pin in. And we'll come the other direction. Okay, let's make sure everybody else is okay. Are we I think we're good. Let's check the other side while we're here. Doesn't hurt to check. Okay, I think we're good. Just that one little section. Okay. We can do that quick enough. We can stand and sew. Lining back up with those other seam stitches. We're good. Okay. Back to the table. Round 2. Does help if you press the right side. There we go. And a lot of panels have like a little bit of border around their the feature, so you can use that as part of your seam allowance. Okay, let's flip the other side, and then we'll take some measurements because we want to do the sides. So we'll go down the sides. I'm assuming it's going to be 40 because that was what the top was. And then of course that means the other one is going to be more than 40. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take our side. So this is what it looks like right now. Okay, we'll take our side measurement, placing it at the 0 and letting it rest naturally. Actually, it says 39 and a half. 39 and a half. Check the other side. It's 39 and a half, then we're good. It's just slightly shy of it, but we'll do 39 and a half and we'll make it work. Okay, so let's pop that right there to the back. Grab our one with the 2 pieces for the red fabric. This is 39 and a half. So we want to make sure we're putting our selvage on like a line. So we're cutting that selvage off. So I've got that on the 39 and a half line. I'm taking it. I'm going to try and follow a line on my board, my cutting board, to make sure it stays nice and straight. 39 and a half, scoot all the way down here to 0, nice and flat, and straight across. Okay. Now we'll take those 2 and we'll put them on the sides. Quickie, make her fit. Putting 4 pins on that one. Okay, let's go to the other side. And I just picked colors within the panel that I had here. I didn't have the same green, or I probably would have used green in there because you know I love green. So I picked some of the brighter tone, like a brighter yellow. And then of course the square is like a creamy kind of color that goes with the scene. Okay, couple pin there, and now we'll go sew in that side, okay? And then we'll come back, press, take our measurement, and make the last border, or border pieces. The weight of the project up on the desk or table beside you. Try not to let it hang because that will actually askew your seam allowance. Two raw edges together. I'm going to come back to the corner here and just kind of make sure I'm pulling the fabrics taut enough, not yanking it, just making sure it's just taut. Shift that just a little. Okay, and we'll do the other side. And then just some straight line quilting or some gentle curve quilting, and you can have this done in definitely an afternoon. Taking an existing panel, bulked it out with just a couple of colors. Of course, you can repeat this too if you really like it and want to make it bigger. Go and do what I've done, and then just add another 2 borders, and then flip out the corners, snowball the corners, and away you go. Keep going. Hope you all had a good celebratory week. Canada Day was on Monday, and Independence Day was on Thursday. Hope you all had a fantastic week. Our North American friends. Just a little backstitch. Okay, now we're going to press. I did the other side. Yes, I did. Give this a little press, and then we will take the measurement for that final section. Okay. I really like how those colors kind of just pop out and frame this pretty quilt, or pretty panel. So we have a visitor. Okay, now we'll take measurement. Here's what it looks like. Let's hold it up right. Okay. And then just add that red one to the top and the bottom. Okay, so we'll go and we'll measure it. Guess I could have just measured that while I was in my hand, but I don't know. Let's make things difficult. Why not, right? 45. And here, go in 45. Okay, so what we want to do is, this is our one that's got 3 of the strips all together, and I just want to do 1 cut. So I'm going to take this fold, I'm going to put it all the way down on the 0, just past the 0. Okay, just past the 0. We want to line this up. Oh, here, let me scoot actually this up a little bit more. Oops. Press that one. Okay. So we're taking this fold of the fabric, we're placing it just past the 0 on the cut board. We're making sure our fabric is lined up on a line. It looks good. Whatever's left is just going to go to the scrappy bin. Scrappy bins make stuff. Okay, so there we go. We're just past the 0, so we've got plenty of space. We said it was 45, so trim down here at 45. Over, oops, feel like I bumped you? Yes, I did. Come back over here for 0. And then we'll take those 2 pieces and add them to the top and the bottom. Oops, line this up better. Make sure you've got a nice 90-degree angle there. Just a couple pins. All right, and then flip to the other side. Okay, one more. Make sure it's laying nice and flat. Okay, there we go. Sew those 2 on. I'm just using a 2.40 stitch, regular needle, and my walking foot. I prefer my walking foot over the regular foot. If you've never used your walking foot and have one, give it a try. I was changed. that third hand. Give that a little press. Well, here's what we got so far. Okay. Now you could just leave it like that if you like. That's a little bit too simple. So put a little pizzazzes up in the corners. Making sure that the seam is going to pushing towards the outside, to the outus. Okay, now when it comes to this part, now that we have it all pressed out, and it's looking like that, we're going to take our 6-inch square that we have, and we're going to put it in the corner. Got our diagonal already there. Let's grab some pins from our tabletop there. Just want to make sure nothing's going to shift. So I'm going to pin one down here and one there. And this line right here, I'm just going to come on this side of it, like this side of the line, okay? Going in that direction, okay? Do that for each corner. It does help if they are sitting nice and flat as you're sew over. Now these extra little bits here are going to be a great addition to my half square triangle bag pile. I will be making a jacket out of those soonish. There's unfortunately a lot to do when squaring them up and pressing them. It is a very time consuming function, that's for sure. Here and here. And the last one. Just making sure the corner is nice and flat. Popping that right there, making sure we have a nice, beautiful angle there. Okay, now we're going to zip on by. Now what I like to do is sew on the line or next to the line, and then another one next to it to give me that half square triangle that I'm always looking for. Okay. I don't have any of the other quilt tucked up underneath. It's easy enough to do. I decide just shy on this side. Now I do like to get my extra one out, so it'll take another moment here. Just hop over the width of my foot. I end up resting the edge of my walking foot right on those previous stitches. That gives me plenty of room to come in with a nice 1/4 inch seam allowance and trim up. Okay, so let's move this way. Get the other corner. Line it up. Over. Okay, get our next corner. Right at the corner. Are you a half square triangle saver, or do you just toss them? Leave in the comments below. Okay, now let's trim this. Make sure pins are out of our way. coming over with our ruler, laying our ruler on the 1/4 inch seam allowance line. I don't want to accidentally trim my bit off because I wasn't paying attention. So let's line it up again. Okay, so that's one. And then when we flip this out, we give it a little press, and then we take our 3 inch of the black and put it in the same corner and do the same thing. Okay. Right. Take a little trim up and place for the black one. All right, now we're going to come with the 1/4 inch right across here, okay, on each one of these. Stitching on diagonal. Actually, that one's just moved a little bit, so let's reshift it. There we go. One more. All right. Okay, just leave those ones. Just trim. Trim. Okay, and then with a nice little press, actually, you should probably lop off those. Could come over, but I can always do it after too. And then just a little press, and we'll square up that corner. I'll show you. Okay, there. Press out the corners. Actually, I don't like the seam going in that direction because you can see it as a shadow. So let's change it. A little heat persuasion there. There we go. Now we can't see it. There was a little shadow that was popping up there. We don't want that. So we want to make sure we are pushing to either side. Now I did use a 2.5 inch strip on the one behind me on the wall, and this one I used a 3 inch strip just to see what it would look like. Poke it out just a little bit more. There, I think we got one more to press. Yes. There. And then there. And then, just to make sure everything is going to go together when you, say if you were to add another border, you want to take your ruler and you want to make sure you're square up on the side of where the border is and the border here. See, we have this just a little bit extra. That's why we sew on this that side of the line, so we're able to trim up this little bit and have a nice beautiful corner. Okay, just like that. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You could use this as a bigger chunk because I only did it 3 to only come into just the edge of it just a little bit. You could use an 8 inch, come in over here, do like 3, 4, 5. Have some fun. The only limitation is your imagination. just do that for all 4 sides. Did I do that one already? Looks like it's pretty square. I guess I did. So it's just a little bit. Should be just a smidge. Rather to trim up than be too short. And that's how I feel. Like sometimes when patterns call for 3/8 and 5/8 and 7/8, I'd usually try and tend to go a little bit up, and I'd rather trim down than feel like I've lost something. Okay, I think we're all good. Done them all. All right. There we go. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have an amazing day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ding that bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. We'll see you soon.